What's going on, everybody? I hope you're having a wonderful day, an amazing day. I've been thinking about this lady lately, and honestly, it's been something that's sitting on my spirit for a while. I keep asking myself this one question: what if this time next year nothing has changed? Not because something terrible has happened to us or our family, and not because we're not talented enough to do so, but because we keep waiting for the perfect time to start. We think there's a perfect time to start anything. And I don't know about you, that's a scary thought for me, honestly, because I think that mostly all of us really want the best out of life. We want to be healthier, we want to make more money, a stronger relationship with God, a strong relationship with our family and friends. We wanted to build that business and chase those dreams that has been in the back of our mind and our spirit for so many years. But wanting something and becoming someone who can actually build it, now that's two separate things. And if I'm being honest with you, I spent a long time like confusing motivation with commitment. I get I get inspired by a YouTube video. I write down a whole bunch of goals like a lot of us have, and I say, yeah, this is it. This is my time. But then the time finally comes and I can't stay consistent. Don't get me wrong. Now, I'll be locked in for a week or two. I go to that gym, I pump the weights, I do work on my business after work. I read those 10 pages a day and I try to stay focused. I was determined to stay focused. But then you know what happens? Life happens. We would get busy. I would get super busy at work. I end up getting so tired after work. And then how life works, something unexpected always happens. It always comes up. And just like that, that motivation, that's out the window. It's gone. And when that motivation disappears, so do the habits you are training yourself to do. And maybe you've been there too. It's not just me, but and it's frustrating because every time you feel like you have to stop, you feel like you have to start all over again. And then you start to question yourself. You wonder if you're like ever able to be disciplined enough. You wonder why you see everybody else, they seem to be making progress, seem to be staying motivated and disciplined, and you're just still spinning the wheels, going over and over again. I've been there. I get it. That's exactly where I was. Then one day I caught myself thinking about my job. For those who are new here, I'm a chef, a full-time chef. And I've spent years working in kitchens. And if you've ever worked in the food service, you know it ain't easy. There's good days and there's bad days. There's mornings when you're so tired before the day even starts, before you even clock in. And then there's the holidays while you're at work and everyone else is celebrating it with your family. There are days where you're running nonstop. You're solving problems, you're putting out fires, leading a team, and trying to make everything come together and look right. But here's the thing. On those days, I still show up, whether I feel motivated or not. Nobody walks into the kitchen and says, you know what? I'm not going to feel inspired today. I'm not going to inspire my team today. We're just not going to put out good things. No, you go in, you clock in, you do the work that is demanded of you, you serve the people well, you put smiles on their faces, and then you go home. Then I used to go back home and then do it again, day by day. And I've done that for years. And because I've stayed consistent, the hard work pays off. Because consistency works. The work works, right? That's what I preach. I've grown. I've been entrusted with more responsibility in the kitchen. I lead a kitchen. I built skills that I didn't have when I first started. And that's what you're supposed to do. You try to build with consistency, you build skills. The consistency, it produces rewards. And one day I had to ask myself this question that honestly, it made me uncomfortable. If I could be that committed into building someone else's business, why am I not bringing that same level of commitment to building my own future? And that question hit me hard, really, because the truth is, I wasn't. I was giving my employer my absolute best. But for me, I didn't expect to come home and like depend on motivation to carry me through building my own future, my own dreams. I was treating my future like it's something that I can get around to when I had enough energy left to do. And that's honestly backwards. Yeah, we all know what's backwards. If I can work so hard on someone else's vision, I owe it to myself to do the vision God placed in my heart to work just as hard on my own. And God gave me a season that had a trust in whether I believed it or not. Not long ago, my family and I had to move. We outgrew that one little bedroom apartment we were all crammed in. We needed more space. That just came down to it. We wanted a place where our kids could run around. They had more room. We had dogs. They needed like room to breathe, room to stretch out. They're growing. But the only problem was at that time was the timing. It was right in the middle of the holiday season. Birthdays were also coming up. They're all around the same corner. Christmas was like knocking on the door. We needed furniture. We had to come up with the moving costs and those deposits, bro, those are not small things. And there were moments where I honestly looked back and I was like, Lord, I don't know how I'm gonna get through all this. I don't know if all this is gonna happen. But every time fear crept in, I had to remind myself of something. Now, God never asked me to figure it out. He asked me to trust Him and be faithful with what's in front of me. So that's what I did, rightfully so. I got down on my knees and I prayed. Not just once, but every single day and night I prayed. I asked God for wisdom. I asked God to supply me with His strength, for His peace that surpasses all understanding. That's what we learn. And then after my shifts as a chef, instead of going home and calling it a day, I started to do deliveries, grocery deliveries. Some nights I was extremely exhausted. Some nights all I wanted was nothing more than to sit on my couch. But I kept reminding myself that every delivery was getting me closer to that chapter that I was trying to get to, my dreams. And one more bill ended up being paid. One more piece of furniture ended up being ordered. And one more step towards that life we were praying for was starting to happen. It slowly happened, but things started to happen. It wasn't overnight. It wasn't not all at once like we wanted to be. It was little by little. And before we knew it, everything started to fall into place, just like God says. And a couple of weeks before Christmas, this is the big one. A couple of weeks before Christmas, we got the keys to the house. The house is in the background right now. I'll never forget carrying that real Christmas tree. We get real Christmas trees every year. Carrying it out of our one bedroom apartment and delivering it and setting it up in our new house. Our new 3-bed, 2-bath house with a yard and a garage. I stood there for a moment and I took it all in. I just thank God. And it's not because I got the bigger house. It's not because that it happened. It's because it reminded me that we can, with faith, anything can happen. And when faith and action come together, you're unstoppable. Yeah, God made a way, but He also called me to move my feet because faith without works is dead. That's what He teaches. And that's something I don't want to forget. Yes, God is real, and He's always been faithful in my life over and over again. He's never failed me. But I've also learned this, that faith isn't sitting around waiting for your life to magically just change. Sometimes faith looks like praying before you work and then going to work that extra shift after work. Sometimes faith feels like trusting God enough to keep showing up when you're so super tired, when you're exhausted. And this one, faith looks like doing the boring things over and over again until one day you look up and you realize, bruh, my entire life has changed. And that's why I'm creating Finish Strong, not because I have life all figured out. Let's be honest, none of us do. But because I'm like tired of depending on motivation. This time around, I'm choosing discipline. This time around, I'm choosing consistency. And I want to invite anyone who's ready to do the same with me. Starting September 1st, we're spending the last 90 days of this year intentionally. We're going to work on our health, get in the gym. We're going to work on our finances. We're going to work on our faith. We're going to work on our mind shift change, and we're going to work on our goals. We're not going to chase perfection. We're just going to show up every day and take it one day at a time. Because I truly believe that if we can change our daily habits, then we can change the direction of our lives. I'm just being real. We can change the trajectory of our lives. And I don't want to sit here next year and have the same conversation with you guys, with myself. I want us to look back and say, that was the season that changed everything for us. That's the season that started the change. So if you're ready to stop waiting for motivation and start building a life that you're proud of, I want you to join me. Comment Finish Strong below. And I want to know who's coming with me, who's on this journey with me. We've got something really special starting September 1st, and I love for y'all to be a part of it. I appreciate you guys every single day for being here. So until next time, please keep God first. Please keep putting in the work, because faith without works is dead. And then no matter what the season throws at you and throws your way, please let's finish strong. Until next time, peace. I'll see y'all later.
These days. Can't play no game these days. Ask me how did I do it, I grind, I pray. I am under influence, I'm miles away. These days.